I'm Mr. Shiflett. I've been helping with college app essays for quite a long time. I did the Writing Center at Robert College for 5 or 6 years, and I've been doing college essays for quite a long time, even before that. So I'm tutoring this year, and I'm gonna help with these essays all year. And then, I was asked to go ahead and give this workshop to you guys. So here's basically the agenda. We'll look at a bunch of different types of the essays. Someone else is coming on. Okay. We'll look at a bunch of different types of essays. We'll start with the UCAS, the motivational letters, and then some of you will go, and then I'll show we'll go over the Common App essay, some non-Common App essays, and the supplementals. And then if some of you want to keep on going, I can show many of you the common writing mistakes, but it mostly pertains to the Common App essay. Okay. So there are the specific essays we'll go over. So let's start with UCAS. Okay. But from all of these essays, the most important thing I could possibly get across to you, every acceptance committee person that comes to talk to us, they say this is the one chance you get to make yourself a real person to this acceptance committee after they're just reading a lot of numbers and statistics. Okay, it's the only way to get to know you. Lots of people have great grades, SAT scores, extracurricular activities, advanced classes, etc. And those are just statistics. This is the way you become a real person. It makes you materialize and become a 3D person to the committee so they can remember you. So you have to be memorable after this essay. If you write something very moving, very memorable, they will flag your essay and say, hey, let's look at this kid. All right, so first, some things to expect between now and the middle of January. And of course, this part, I always used to do this with the Common App people. Someone else is coming on. Okay. But because a lot of people, even if the student thinks, okay, I'm just going to do a Common App essay, or I'm just going to do a UCAS, by December, they may have come to me in the Writing Center and said, oh, no, I want to apply to the US also because I might get the scholarship or something like that. So here are all the different things that you could expect to do. Possibly Common App essay, 650 words, that's sent out to over 800 schools. A few personal statements that aren't accepted by the Common App schools. And here are some of those examples. Georgetown, MIT, many of the state schools, Penn State, the different California ones, University of Illinois, University of Texas. Okay. Also, you can expect many supplemental essays in conjunction to the things above. Some of those range from 35 words to 350, sometimes 500 words. They'll ask certain questions like sometimes pretty crazy questions, like what's your favorite riddle and why? Or how can you compare oranges to apples? And that's all they ask you, and you have to come up with something. But okay. Also the UCAS. This is a different kind of essay because they want you to be much more straightforward. They want to know what kind of program you're applying to. And then this goes out to a lot of different schools in the UK. Someone else is coming on. Okay, so, and then they require 4,000 characters, something like 47 lines, which comes out to about 670 words. And then the motivational letters. These are specific to the universities, mostly in Europe. So a lot of times you can do a variation on the UCAS, but you have to make sure you look specifically at the school and the program to which you're applying. So that you know, and we'll go over some examples in a little bit. Someone else trying to come on. And in a little while, we'll go over lots of examples. Okay. But yes, it's some of them want you to be personal, some of them don't. All right. Also, something else you can expect between now and January. You're going to write a bunch of different versions of the essay. Don't think that you can just write one and you're done. Also, like even if you're just doing the motivational letter, you may apply to three or four different places. Sure, you can reuse some of the information, but once again, you have to be very, very specific to that school. Also, you can take your UCAS and use some information and apply it to the motivational letter, but you have to be really careful with that. Okay. Also, if you're going to use 3 or 4 of these different systems, or all of them, or just a few of them, make sure every version that you use, you save. You're going to write a bunch of different ones. You're also going to edit. You're also going to change your ideas. You're going to have different ideas. You're going to get on a 3rd or 4th version and think, oh, you know, for this other university, what I wrote on that second draft is going to work out better. So you need to be very organized and save the different versions of these essays. So have one big folder somewhere, and make sure you save it in different places, the cloud, etc. Just a second, someone else is coming on. Okay. But also have different folders for the different universities. And then if you completely rewrite some things, don't completely erase it, save it as a different version. So I have many students who will have up to 14 or 15 different versions. So UChicago supplement, version 9, and then version 10, version 11, etc. So make sure you keep all that organized. Okay. Okay, you can also, yeah, a lot of the prompts will seem similar. Yes, you can repurpose some of them. You cannot have a bland general one that fits for every university. However, it's impossible. If you apply to a lot of places, it's impossible to completely use new information. You would go crazy and it would take forever. But you have to make sure you tailor it for the university. So yes, you're going to reuse some things. You're going to find it difficult and frustrating. One of the most difficult things, even for you IB students who have to write all those different essays, it's going to be frustrating. Let's see. You can also feel awkward at times writing about personal information or getting help from teachers or counselors. But this is not a time to be shy. You have to go and talk to people, get second opinions, ask if something works. The best writers out there have to do that also. And don't feel like a failure. So many of you, you put so much pressure on yourselves. You feel like you have to be perfect. You're not going to be. So don't feel like failures if you have to rewrite it many times. It's okay. Because it's going to be worth it. Once you, keep the end goal in mind. Once you make it to the place, then boom, there you go. You've made it to the promised land. So just keep the end goal in mind. All right, so some things over the writing process. Start early. Don't wait until next October. The Common App essay is the best place to start if you're going to do that. Don't wait to the last minute. It's going to be very, very difficult to get an appointment at your school's writing center with a teacher, with a tutor, or a friend, because everybody is busy October, November. I promise you. All right, so don't be upset, just be early. Okay. Common App essay, for those of you doing that, we won't spend too much time on it right now. We'll come back to these. But in many of the supplementals, it's pretty creative. It's pretty narrative. So I know a lot of you haven't used that part of your brain in a long time, but you have to reconnect with that. And I know that schools kind of kill that in you, but you have to try to reconnect with that part of your brain. Find your best place to write. When do you get your best ideas? Have a notebook, with you, the note part of your phone. And then don't think of any of it as a finished product. You're always going to be reworking all the way through October, November, December, January. And then I provided some creative exercises at the very end. I used to do those whenever I had students in person. But I'm not going to keep you guys online too much today. So I'll just probably leave those for you to do. Okay, so let's look at the general differences between the essays, because there are differences. And after I go over these differences, I'll stop for questions if you have any. But then we'll go into specifics about each essay. But right now, yeah, we'll look at the general differences between all of them. So I'll start with the UCAS and the motivational letter. So the UCAS, Universities and Colleges Admission Services, it's the United Kingdom system. The required essay is not a narrative, although a lot of people, you need to inject some personality, especially in that first paragraph where you try to show how you got interested in your subject. But it's not story-like like the Common App essay or the personal essay. But this one, yeah, you get much more straight to the point, why you're going to college, why you're going to study what you're wanting to study. It's 4,000 characters, or actually 47 lines. I should have put 47 lines. And that's about 5 or 6 paragraphs, and that's about 670 words or so. And I've got, there are a lot of examples there, but we'll wait on the examples. Motivational letter, mostly for European schools. Letter of motivation, sometimes they call it letter of intent. It's all the same thing for the bachelor's. I mean, the same term, but each school wants you to do a little bit something different usually, but always look at it. So these vary, and they very much depend on the school to which you're applying. Some are straightforward, a lot like the UCAS, while many want to see your personality shine through, if at least in the first paragraph. And then you have the Common App, goes out to over 800 schools, maximum of 650 words, maximum. And they try to stress you don't have to fill up 650 words. I've spent a lot of time with students trying to get that down to 649, but 550 is just fine. If it's really good, don't need more than that. Supplemental essays. That's also usually through the Common App system and through other colleges. But these are, yeah, for the individual schools. So that Common App, it goes out to a lot of schools, but then each individual app, each individual school, they'll want more details from you. So they'll ask you different questions. And then, so yeah, they vary in length. Sometimes they'll give you 3 or 4 of these, sometimes just a few. Often they're like, why do you want to come to our school? But then they also ask you very quirky ones. Chicago and MIT are big ones that do that. Then you have personal statements that they're quite a bit like the Common App essay, but they go to individual universities. Okay. So yeah, on the scale of narrative to straightforward, UCAS is on the left. It's the least story-like. Motivational letter, supplements, personal statements, Common App essays to the most story-like. But no matter what, and I'll keep reiterating this, whether it's the UCAS or it's the Common App essay, they want to see your personality. You have to stand out and not be statistics on the page. That's why this part of it is so important, especially with the schools that are, not counting the SAT anymore, things like that. So it's really important. Okay. At this point, let me stop for questions, if you have any, and then I'm going to go into more details about the UCAS. Okay. It'll make the class easier, or it'll make the session easier if you don't have questions, but please ask if you do. And someone else is coming on. Of course, you can always get a hold of me to ask further details. But for those of you who are just going to do the UCAS, did I almost have a question? Nope. Okay. So for those of you who aren't going to do Common App, I'm going to skip through to the UCAS. Okay. So this is from the acceptance committee at University of Essex about the importance of the UCAS. So your personal statement is a really important part of your application. That is your only chance to really personalize it. Your personal statement should explain why you want to study your chosen course at university. You need to demonstrate your enthusiasm and commitment and convince the admission selectors that you will be suitable for your chosen course. Remember that the admission selector reading your statement is an academic in your chosen area of interest and will therefore want to know why you chose the subject and wish to study it at a higher level. So here you see that this is much more academic driven. They still want to see you and why you want the subject, but it's much more academic driven than the personal statement. So the UCAS, here's the advice for this. You should write 4 to 6 paragraph essay. Don't write one big paragraph. Okay, they're going to think that you don't care, then you're not trying. The length should be, so you have a box that you copy and paste it into. It can't be more than 4,000 characters or 47 lines. And this comes out to about 670 words-ish. What to include, and you'll see the examples in a minute. Why you're interested in the subject, your enthusiasm for the subject, how your previous studies relate to the course. Notice this is very academic. Relevant aspects of job placements, work experience, or volunteering. Sometimes you can go a little bit out of focusing on, what you're going to study, but not much, maybe a sentence or two. Try to talk mainly about your enthusiasm for the course, because you go straight into that particular field of study once you get into that university in the UK. So you need to focus on that. Any training or achievements that show your skills for that. Demonstrate you're a great candidate and you have skills and qualities that they're looking for. And then, very importantly, the College Counseling Center at Robert College and other places, we really like to put this in the last paragraph. They kind of want to know why you're wanting to leave Turkey and go to the UK. Like, why the UK? Why is the UK a good fit for you? Why are British universities in the UK, why are those a fit for you? Now, don't go to the negative too much. Don't talk too much about the economy or about whatever, human rights, blah blah blah. Don't focus on the negative. Say why the UK is really good, is going to be really good for you. Why you're going to go there. They want to know, like, why do you want to come to our university and leave Turkey? Okay. Any questions about any of that? Okay. I have a feeling a lot of you, because you don't know each other that well, you haven't had a class together or something, you might be kind of shy to speak out. You could also type it in a message or on WhatsApp or something if you have a question. Okay. More advice. Also, please, this should be a given, but I've seen many things in my years. Please don't copy and paste someone else's or use someone else's from the past. They have detection software for that. Be sure to write it on a word processor first, and then look at your mistakes and everything. But please don't copy someone else's or even paragraphs from someone else's. It should be your own. Don't write this personal statement with only one school in mind, the UCAS. Don't write the UCAS with one school in mind. Your subject in mind, but not the school in mind. Motivational letters will be the school specific. Okay. Now this essay will go to several schools. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to open up. I'll have it up on the screen, so you don't necessarily have to open it up, but I want you to have the packets yourselves. But I'm going to go to the UCAS example. All right, so I'm going to do the quick look on page 2. Here's a UCAS example. Notice that in the very first paragraph, I know what, like if I received this and I was on the acceptance committee or a selector, I know what you're going to study, that first paragraph. So don't make me guess. This person, the first line, the first sentence of the first word of 2 different sentences, I see what they want to study. Very soon I see what they want to study. World's problems, globalization, etc. So geography is the study of the world. As geographers, we hold the keys to the world's problems. Geography encompasses many things from natural disasters, ecosystems to globalization. So getting you into the subject. Second paragraph, my studies have inspired me. So they're going to go into their studies. Next paragraph, I've been involved in a range of aspects of field work. Okay, so that person has been out in the field with their chosen area of study. More of that in the next paragraph. Furthermore, I was selected to represent UK in their international space design competition at Johnson Space Center. The last sentence of the last paragraph, geography is constantly evolving and relevant, blah, blah, blah. And then this is where, you know, since you guys are coming from outside of the UK, you should really put why the UK from Turkey. Okay, the next page, a common app example. Notice how much this is much more story-like. Before last year, I had always thought of myself as a very shy, uncreative, introspective individual, and I was happy that way. So you see how that's much more story-like. The next one is a supplement, Nazla. The prompt says if you could only do one of the activities you listed in the activities section of your common application, which one would it be? Would you keep doing and why? 150 words. So you have to, in 150 words, you have to tell me why. Motivational letter from Bocconi. So notice that this is somewhere in between a UCAS and a personal statement, especially that first paragraph, because yes, you do need to show a little personality. You need to show the reason for choosing that subject, but also they're going to become very school specific below. Okay, but our lives are a series of decisions. So very interesting, right? From to be or not to be, to espresso or filter. These decisions are what make the principle, blah, blah, blah. So this one, yeah, somewhere a little bit in between, right? Okay, yeah, so that's a quick look at all of those. So now let's go down to page 17, I believe it was. Yeah, so here was the advice for the UCAS. We'll start looking at specific examples from the UCAS. And remember, these are the things that you're supposed to put in your UCAS. Why you're interested in the subject, your enthusiasm for the subject, how your previous studies relate to the courses, relevant aspects of jobs, placements, work experience, volunteering, activities or hobbies that show your interest, any training or achievements, demonstrate you're a great candidate, why schools in the UK. Yeah, whenever I had broke students into groups, we would do, does the student use language and grammar to enhance the essay? Is the student's mastery of the little things, capitalization, quoting, italics, are they apparent? Are they there? Do they still put some personality into it? So let's kind of read through this one. And the second one, I'm going to have you read by yourselves, and hopefully you'll be brave enough to talk a little bit and see what they did well. But okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read through this one. The world of algorithms and the ability to solve problems through lines of code has amazed me forever since I began learning programming through Code Academy 4 years ago. I've grown up in an era where we fundamentally depend on technology to communicate, to eat, and to transport. It allows people to solve the most essential problems of our time and to improve the quality of others' lives. Therefore, I hope to pursue, let somebody on, hope to pursue an education in computer science in the UK, where I would attain the academic and personal growth that will enable me to create solutions for humankind. Boom, I know what she wants to do in the future. I know what she wants to study. So now she's going to step back and tell me her fascination. And let me tell you this, I guess we have about 4 minutes. Once we get to the end of the 4 minutes and I disappear, let's use that for time for a break, but also read over the next essay. And then hopefully we'll talk about it whenever I come back on. But yeah, I may disappear if I forget to go ahead and take that break. But okay, my fascination with programming led me to several school clubs, from iOS Programming Club to the Coder Dojo Club. I learned the basics of Swift and HTML. Later during my junior year, I took introductory Java courses. In this course, I not only learned Java, but also, so this paragraph going into details about what they learned about their particular field of study. Now they're going to talk about past experiences. This summer, I got accepted to the Microsoft's Turkey's University internship program as a high school student. I acquired the basics of many programming languages, as well as engineers, including C++ or SQL and Unity. I also had the chance to observe the workplace of a computer scientist and to learn about the technology sector and potential work opportunities. So out in the field learning what to do. The next one, next paragraph, having grown up aspiring to be a computer scientist, I wanted to inspire others to become engineers, scientists, and innovators of the future. So here they're going to kind of put forth some of their leadership skills. And that's also very important. They're still talking about their field of study, but they're showing that they can also be a leader. That shows that you have value for that university that you're coming into. You're not just there to take, you can also participate and give back. Okay, I initiated and led a community service project with local children of a Turkish village in which I taught them the basic principles of programming, introduced them to resources like Code Academy with the hope of inspiring them about STEM. This includes coding a labyrinth game on Scratch, so etc. So she's showing that she knows a wide variety of things about coding, but also that she's can teach and that she's a good leader. Okay, and then the last, let's look at the last paragraph here. Studying computer science in the UK would be the ideal opportunity for me, as there is an established and developing technology sector in the UK. Also, the diverse environment of the UK embodies the potential to foster very promising ideas, projects, and solutions by bringing together the ideas from all around the world. Throughout my academically challenging high school years, I have worked with perseverance and discipline, knowing that every step I take, every second I study, would benefit me in the end, which I believe has prepared me for the academically rigorous university education ahead. Okay, so the next one is going to be from Nazla. Now, these two students I helped personally. You see that they're nice, polished essays, and they got in to a lot of places. I think Alara ended up going to Princeton or something like that. Nazla went to Stanford, but she also got into a lot of, she got into Oxford, but she didn't take it. But even with them, notice that they seem very polished, but I promise you, we worked hours and hours and hours on these essays. They did not come to me with polished ones. So don't be dissuaded by this, and also don't be dissuaded by the fact that you start writing, you have to rewrite a bunch. Okay.